There we go. Sorry, I forgot to actually pull in my my microphone here. It makes it a lot easier. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's live stream. Completely messed up that intro. And I'm actually a few minutes late. Or not late, early. Always late. This time I'm actually 2 minutes early this time. That never happens. Anyway, good evening everybody. I can see there's already a good debate going on in chat regarding fleet carriers. So, plan for tonight. Greetings guys. Greetings DKY. King of Space Elevator Music. Doing great. And, oh, hey Emsolus. Wanna play Monster Hunter? Well, later maybe. Oh yeah, temperatures are definitely down. They dropped like 20 degrees Celsius in like 2 days. So for being up in the 30s, 30 something degrees Celsius, now we're down to 12. And it's raining. Good evening Reaction Craft, and Alice says good evening. With Dunkel Aura here, Vulture is there as well. Okay, so plan for tonight is come on, game. Oh yeah, hold on. There we go. First of all, I need to begin to, or continue to make my way towards my first waypoint, which is within reach now, I think. And again, I'm not 100% sure if there's even is anything interesting in the system, but 2,500, no? There we go. 2,500 light years should be within range. But we also, while we're flying there, gonna have a quick chat about fleet carriers and all that stuff that's coming out later in the year. Maybe we're also gonna go into go ahead and talk about the arcs, if we have time for that later on the live stream. But let me see if I can get this thing off the ground. Where's the target? It's all the way down there. Okay. So, hold on. A little loud. There we go. And the Loom, thank you for following on Twitch. So, let's start with fleet carriers, and I would actually like to... no, you know what? We should start somewhere else. Let's start by doing a quick recap of what we know so far, and then we can. Then I actually want to hear your guys' opinion, because I've been thinking a lot about the fleet carriers, and there's a lot of stuff that we know that we can kind of deduct from the video that was posted. And if we assume that some of the information that was given on the fleet carriers when they were supposed to be released back in the 3.3 update, if we suppose that is still valid, then we can kind of use that to get a starting point for a discussion. But there's still a lot of stuff that we don't know, and that's the part that I find the most interesting. And I know it will only be like guesses and hopes and dreams and stuff like that, but I still think there's some interesting topics in there. But first of all, let's do a quick recap of what we actually know regarding fleet carriers. Let's get myself a glass of water. And then we kind of start from there. 30 degrees plus C's is shutdown temperature for US. Wow, well, I don't know that word, but okay, it's hot. Okay, so hello Hawk over on Twitch. First of all, many of you may already, or most of you will probably have seen the video that Frontier posted twice, first by mistake and then actually posted. Basically just showing a quick sweep over the top of a fleet carrier. From that we can see a few interesting things. First of all, we can kind of get a feel for the size. It seems from the video you can see they will have what looks like 8 large landing pads on the back of the ship, and then it will have, I believe it's 4 medium of the sides and 2 smalls. So it's going to be able to carry quite a decent number of ships. And those are just the ships that are docked on the landing pads. And we also saw the ship coming out of this black cloud, which we have seen before when capital ships enter a conflict zone. So we kind of guess that yes, these things are. I should remember to also actually do some exploration, not just honk and jump. 6 bodies. Let's just quickly see what we got. No. Nothing of particular interest. Let's be set up by filters as well. I want stars. I want planets and moons. Settlement stations, point of interest, signal sources. There we go. Okay, good. So we kind of know that these are going to be jumpable, and from what Frontier told us, I believe at least that they told us that they were going to be able to be jumped whenever we wanted to, and not just once a week like mega ships are, because that would be one of my main concerns. If they're only going to be able to be moved once a week, it wouldn't be the end of the world, but it's kind of going to put a little, how to explain that lore-wise and all that stuff. And that's kind of what we know. But the first thing that I think we should talk about is the whole, how do you actually gain these? Now, I'm pretty sure these are going to be something that's going to be with Squadrons, but let me know in the chat. So post in the chat now. What do you guys think? How are we going to be able to get these? Or how would you like that you will be able to how you would like to try and procure these? Should they be built, purchased? Give me your opinions. Galactic Overlord says, where can I see the top-down video? Go to the official Elite Dangerous YouTube channel, and it should be the latest video there. Oh, Reaction Craft says, could you please announce open live stream events, the Hall of Combat? Thanks a lot for the follows, so I haven't read up all the names. Zulu95, thanks a lot for the follow on Twitch. Any Hall of Combat live streams before you participate in any expeditions? I'm in the middle of nowhere right now. I don't know if I'm gonna get back in time. So, in case you guys don't know, on Saturday I'm hosting an open live stream where we're gonna go out with the haulers, and we're gonna fly into hopefully a hazardous conflict zone, and we're gonna see how long we can survive. We've done it in Eagles before. It's a ton of fun. We're gonna try and do it in haulers. Did I honk this system? So we have Emso says sort of a community goal. 36 bodies in this system. Oh, it's gotta be a lot of multitasking tonight. But it is nothing of interest, it seems. No. So like collect 2,000 units of iron, 3,000 tons of gold, etc. Yeah. Yeah, I think something like that could be cool. So if you kind of a bit like either like an upscaled version of wing missions, or basically like the station repair thing, where you would have to collect a ton of stuff as a community, but just maybe less than what you would need for repairing a station, so that it would actually be doable for a single faction. There's a lot of stuff talking about that that these are not, that they haven't announced they're going to be Squadron only. I'm pretty sure they will be. They at least said so in the original round when they talked about it back in December last year, when they were supposed to come out with the 3.3 update. Then they said they were supposed to be Squadrons only. That of course also means they're not going to be, that makes sense, they're not necessarily going to be cross-platform, because not all Squadrons on one platform doesn't, it's not on the other one. But also, like, how are we going to be able to interact with these? Now let's stay with the whole purchasing thing, because if you're gonna be able to purchase them like a community, like a small community goal, which I hope it is, so like a variety of materials need to hand in and not just hand over like a pile of cash to get one. When you are procuring this, and when you get that in your squadron, the question is, how are we going to be able to interact with it? Is it just gonna be like a remote base, which in itself could be really useful if you could move that around as a remote base, have that wherever you want to. But I mean, is it only people in a certain squadron that can see them? Because if everybody can see the fleet carriers, does that mean that they will suddenly, we could end up having fleet carriers everywhere, but just people parking fleet carriers left and right? So I guess there's a balancing act there, because I don't think Frontier wants the whole game to just suddenly be flooded with fleet carriers everywhere. That seems unlikely. So, in my mind, I think that they're gonna try to balance it, but again, that's a really, really difficult thing to balance. I've been told by reliable source that Hot Novels are giving away free fleet carriers. And Andy, that's a good question as well. Can they be destroyed in combat? I'm actually gonna come back to that later. Yeah, exactly. The price tag, and I don't think it's just gonna be money. I hope at least there's also gonna be materials. Oh, that's a good idea. Maybe you can actually use them as capital ships. Essentially, suggest here that you can outfit them with guns. But so how are we going to be able to interact with it? Because if we assume they're gonna be cross-instant, so that if we build a fleet carrier, a Terra X fleet carrier, which is our faction, and we put that in a system, let's say we put that in our home system LP, just for starters. Oh, here we go. Then, what would then happen when people come into open? Would they be able to see it as well? What about people outside the squadron? Would they be able to see it as well? Because on one hand, if everybody's going to be able to see it, you could risk that they will just be flooding and they will be everywhere. The fleet carriers parked everywhere. Especially in Shinrata Dash, where people just park there just for lols, I think. But again, they could balance that out by making them more expensive or more difficult to build. That could be an option too, but again, they would have to try and balance it, because I don't think it would be beneficial if they made them so difficult to get your hands on that only the largest player communities would be able to actually build them, and you would end up only having a handful of them in game. That's not fun. Well, it is for the larger communities, because it's like, then there's some extra effort going into actually having one, but it also excludes the players who maybe are just playing on their own. They're never going to be able to use these. So what do you do with the solo players? Because on the other hand, I don't think you want everybody just to create one-man squadrons and then build a fleet carrier, and then you would have thousands and thousands and thousands of them everywhere you go. So I think they'll have to try to do some pretty serious balancing between trying to make them accessible to most players, and also preventing them being so expensive that only the biggest communities can get them. Because I'm pretty sure that once they're there, they're gonna be a persistent thing across platforms. They're not just gonna be like ships that log out and then they disappear. That leads us on to the next question that was posted. Was it an Andy that posted it? Is that the name? Hold on, let me scroll up again here. I think it was oh, there it was. I'm about to crash into a star though. There will be grind, lots of grind, no doubt about it. I don't think they would charge arcs for the fleet carrier. That would be a bit of a dick move, I think. And 5,000 arcs. That is, well, can they be... Yeah, Andy, there you go, thank you. Can they be attacked? And that's actually a question I've been thinking about a lot. Is how, I mean, stations can't be attacked. Well, they can, but you will get, like, shot to pieces immediately. And so here's the two sides of it, right? On one side, it could be, for the PvP community, it could be fun to have that as an additional target, and also for BGS, that you would be able to go in and attack an enemy faction's fleet carrier to try and hinder their movements and prevent them from trying to move into one of your systems or something like that. Something like that could happen. But on the other hand, you also have the communities that just lives in private groups and solo, and they might want to build a fleet carrier, and then suddenly someone comes along and open and shoots it down, which is obviously not a not a very nice player experience, that you've been working for something, and then someone who plays in, I mean, if you have no interest in PvP, then suddenly, if you can attack and destroy the fleet carriers, and they are persistent across game modes, then suddenly you will end up in a situation where you are that PvP is suddenly forced upon you, even though you are a solo player, because there will be players trying to take out your fleet carrier in open play. So it's really difficult, I think, to figure out how... Oh, hold on, we have something interesting here. We have a water world. Okay, let's explore this system. It's quite big, though. So it's pretty interesting to see how they're going to balance that out, to prevent... Hold on, what's going on here? Oh, it's the B star. Got it. There is a ton of stuff in this system, though. Hold on a second. What do we have here? We'll go back and discuss the fleet carriers in a bit. Just need to focus on my scanning here. I can't multitask. There we go. What else do we have? We have something here. I thought I already found the water world. Oh, there it is. Just a small moon. More moons. Okay. Oh, there's more out here. What do we have? Oh, the water world is actually right here. This is the inner part of the system. I'm guessing there are more. No. I'm guessing it was more asteroid fields. There we go. We'll get back to the fleet carriers in a bit. And what else do we have? We have even more stuff in here. God damn it, we can zoom in a lot. I've lost track of how many levels we're deep right now. Okay, more asteroid belts. Okay, this thing just keeps going. That must be the water world then. Yeah. Don't think it's terraformable though. There's a gas giant, and as usual with the gas giants, there's a ton of moons around it.
Everyone should join Discord and help out Astro's player faction because science.
Yeah, you're right, Kessler. You should all go where you like BGS or just generally want to have someone to play along with. Then you should consider going over and having a look at Terra X. We have some faction planners that keeps an overview of what's going on with the faction and post daily strategies, so we know what we should do. And in order to progress with the faction, it is actually going pretty well at the moment. We've been expanding pretty rapidly, and it was the plan that we were going to slow down the expansions for a bit and begin to do some householding in our home systems. But people have been pretty much cleaning up the home system and doing all the household we needed in record time. So expansion seems to be back on the menu in the not too distant future. Ryan says, I wish this game gives us more science. See, that's the interesting thing. There's a lot of science in Elite already. It's just, you need to know it's there in order for you to see it. Oh, that's a pretty... Oh, look at that. A ringed ice body. I'm gonna go and have a look at that one. And I actually was considering to do like a find a way to select a random system, like in the vicinity of where I was, and just drop into that system, preferably an unexplored system, so there would be no way of me knowing what I was jumping into, and then just see what kind of interesting science could we pull out of just like, here's a random system in the middle of nowhere. That could be pretty fun, because I found in most cases when I do stops like these and begin to explore, what do we have here? Oh, there was something. I figured there was. I often find when as I said, when I do these stops and I begin to actually look around what's in the systems, I often come across things that are not actually what I was looking for. Hold on, there's a message there, helpful review. Why was that helpful review? Fleet carriers ain't for purchase. I have found some stuff on Wikipedia that seems like it fucked up a bit, but it will be a ship that carries squadrons to and from what? Yeah, me too. But I'm just going to finish my scans here, then we're going to go back and talk about the fleet carriers. We were talking about whether they were going to be destructible or not. I'm leaning towards not. But if they're not, I mean, people could still open fire on them, so either they would just be invulnerable to damage, or they would have station guns much in the same way as, well, yeah, exactly the same way a station does. But if that's the case, or mega ships for that matter, but if that's the case and you can move them, what would then prevent you from just jumping this into, as Emslo says, into a conflict zone and using it there? But I think that comes down to how accurately we're going to be able to jump these, because what happens when you jump into a system? Where does it spawn? Does it just... Oh, we made it out to the top level again. Nice. When you come into a... jump into a new system, where does the ship spawn? Does it just spawn randomly anywhere in the system? Or will it... Oh, there's another gas giant here. Or will you be able to select maybe which body you're gonna jump in around? I personally like that method, because that means, if that's the case, that you can jump it into a specific object, let's say a moon or something. That means that if you are doing conflict zones and there are no stations in the vicinity around that conflict zone, then you could take a fleet carrier, if it works as I expect it will be, then you could take a fleet carrier and jump it in and park it around that planet, and then use that as a base of operation when running that conflict zone. So you would have somewhere close for docking up and repairing. Wait, was that it? Oh, we scanned the whole system. Nice. Then you would have somewhere you could dock up and repair, rearm, that kind of stuff. Which I hope those kind of facilities will be available. Look at that. Where was that? There was a ringed ice world, wasn't there? I could have sworn. Maybe I was wrong. Oh, right, there it is. Yeah, that's a good idea, but that's a good point that they will cost material most likely to move, to jump. But again, question is how many hours of gameplay will it take? Oh, it's that one, that's the water wheel, right? Okay, there's a bit of a flight ahead of us. How much gameplay will it take in order to be able to collect enough to make one jump? Because if this is as a squadron that has to do this... see, we have any terraformables here? Oh, this is the terraformable water world. Nice. Okay, so if we're talking about fleet carriers being destructible or not, I personally think they are not going to. See what Zulu says here. I'm guessing that maybe carriers would function as a Star Trek ship. You need more than one player to move them. I mean, that's another thing that I've been thinking about. What if they go with an approach a bit like what they do in EVE Online? I don't know how many of you are familiar with the capital movement system in EVE Online. But what they do there is they have a special module called a Sino field generator. So you would have a character fit this Sino module, and he would then go to a system within the capital ship's jump range, and he would fire up that Sino field generator that basically acts like a lock-on beacon for the fleet carrier, or for the capital ship in EVE Online, and you would then jump to that beacon, and that's where the ship will land. That could be a way it could work as well, but if that's the case, then they would have to make some... I mean, then you could probably say that you can't fire off a Sino field generator inside a no-fire zone, so people don't just park a fleet carrier right outside the docking hatch of Shinra the Destra. Yeah, and again, of course, not everybody in the squadron will be able to move it. You will have to have a certain rank. That would be pretty obvious to me. But, so if you make that jump, that could be a way they could do it as well. You would jump to a character, but again, it will allow people to put them in, well, interesting spots. What happens if you try to jump into a ring? Maybe you were not allowed to be mass locked or inside a no fire zone. That's actually, that would actually solve it. If they did that jump to a player, if they just said you can't jump, you can't start that beacon if you're mass locked, that would prevent people from doing it inside rings. It would prevent people doing it close to stations and close to planets. That would pretty much solve it, but that could be okay. You could still put it in pretty low orbit around the planet. But I guess, I mean, you could put it, what, 20 kilometers up or something? Is that when you leave the mass lock? I guess depending on the size. Do you have an efficient method for farming great forest materials? Oh, went for a treat. Hold on, I did find something for you here. I actually, the more I think about it, I actually like the idea of having it in the same way as in EVE Online with like a jump beacon that you would jump to. I think that could work really well, because it would also allow people to put, let's say you want to explore a Thargoid ruin or something like that. You find something along those lines. You could then just put it in, like, let's say 20 kilometers above that site, and then you could use that as a platform to go back up and down to explore the site. That would actually be pretty neat. for you asking about materials, I'm gonna post this on Twitch as well. There's a spreadsheet for you that contains pretty much every single material with information about where to get it, and when available there will also be a video guide or multiple video guides if there are multiple methods showing you how to do it and stuff like that. There are a few things missing there, and if some of them are not up to date, please let me know and I'll try to get them updated. I know meta alloys is a little outdated, but I'm waiting for this Interstellar Initiative to finish before I go and look at that. Robert says Carlos Revenge. I was thinking Carlos Memorial, but Carlos Revenge would work as well. But if we assume that the whole jumping mechanic is gonna require some kind of fuel, what I'm hoping is that this fuel can be acquired. By either like mining it, getting it off planet surfaces, like from prospecting. You should be able to buy it straight off the market, and maybe also pull it out from NPC haulers if you want to do that. That would allow pretty much every type of gameplay, apart from exploration, but most types of gameplay would then be able to naturally collect the material needed for fuel. And it would also add, if you could just buy it straight off the market, it will also add a money sink into the game. Something that we don't have a lot of in Elite. I mean, we have the rebuy cost, and then there's the like, sure, there's that refuel and ammo and repair, but those are so small that they don't really count. But other than that, there's not a whole lot of money sinks in the game. There are material sinks in form of engineering, of course, but there's no money sink. So having the ability to, if we can use money to buy the fuel, that would actually add a money sink into the game, which would I think be a pretty good idea, so people not just stockpiling. I mean, I know I'm doing the exact same, not on this character. I don't think I have that much in this character. No, I have 88 million. But on my main character, I have almost 6 billion. So, well, I mean, I'm definitely guilty of stockpiling too much credit myself. But I don't think I don't think a money sink in Elite would be a bad idea. Did you ever buy the 8A prismatics or hull for the cutter? Oh yeah, multiple times. Not the 8As actually. I've been signed up for Duval for quite a while now, and I just never got around to doing my merits. I need to restock on more prismatics. Good evening, Marcus. But that's the question. I mean, if there's gonna be a money, like a price tag, you just pay straight up cash for a fleet carrier, how much should it be? Because there are definitely players out there, myself included, who could easily hand out 5 billion and would happily do it to get a fleet carrier. Because, well, if I need money, oh, well, I'm gonna shoot. If I need money, I'll just go and make more. Just go get the dust off the mining ship and go out and mine a bit. That's why I hope, as we talked about earlier, that it's going to be a combination of both money and material, so you can't just hand over a huge pile of cash and then get the mega ship, or get the fleet carrier right away. That you will have to actually go out and collect stuff and do something for it. Created a straw poll for voting the name for the fleet carrier linked in Discord. Oh, hold on, I have to go and see this. This ought to be stupid. Where is it? Lobby, I hope that's... Okay, let me see what you guys have come up with so far. Sorry about that. Okay, let's see what we have here. We'll just quickly get you guys with me as well. So we already have some options here. Big Dave, the Ghost of Carlos, the Holy Cucumber, Spirit of Astro, Down To Earth Fleet Carrier, Carlos Memorial, or Carlos Revenge. You know what, I'm gonna post this link, and then we want to see some post it here on the stream chats. Go and give your suggestions here for what names you guys like. I'm not gonna vote because I don't want to give I don't want to make you guys biased, so I'm not gonna vote now. I'm gonna vote when is this in German? Oh yeah, it is in German. Hold on, can we get this in okay, it's in German, but I guess you guys get the gist of it. Thanks a lot for the follows on Twitch. Follows on Twitch. Cucumber's daddy. Problem with Cucumber, I think, is that I know when I fly the Cucumber and other people target it, that it the profanity filter blurs out the name. So if you call it Cucumber, I think it will be blurred out. Okay, let's get this. Wow, voice completely died there. Nice, got it. Big ass screen. Hold on, I need more water, man. Oh, my voice. Wow. I need more vodka. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Okay, let's try that again. Oh, wow, that really... What the hell happened? Okay. Where were I? I was finishing up scanning that. Should we just quickly take a look at how far away this planet is now? 1.8. I'm gonna go there. Just to get a quick look. Okay. Let's just quickly go and allergic to rabbits? No, I don't think that's the case. Okay, so here we have the results. So far, but again, fairly few votes, but gotta keep an eye on this. We have Big Dave, we have Cucumber right behind, and then we have tied for third. We have the Holy Cucumber, Spirit of Astros, and Carlos Revenge. Down To Earth Fleet Carrier, and the Ghost of Carlos has received 0. Okay. What is the chance that the fleet carriers will be locked behind a grind wall, such as Navy rank or personal narrative? So, I'm not sure if we're gonna get multiple fleet carriers to start with. It would be natural to make like a an independent one, a Imperial Federation, maybe even Alliance one. But I don't think we're gonna see that right away. I think from the start we're probably just gonna get one. That's my guess, at least. Hello, Rotten, and welcome to the stream. Fleety McFleet face. So what do you guys think? I'm not sure if there's going to be more models. I don't think there will be it from launch. Do you think we're going to be able to make more than one fleet carrier per squadron? I mean, it would definitely be beneficial to some of the larger squadrons having more than one. To be able to move those around. But again, if they're going to be able to be used as gun platforms, then they could also be quite powerful to have more than one. But again, I hope personally that we could get more than one. I would love to build a few, to be honest. And that's another good question. Will they be modular? Because if they're going to be modular... It's really dark out here, but look at those rings. If they're going to be modular, then it would make a lot of sense to have... Rotten, thanks a lot for the subscription on YouTube. If they're going to be modular, then it would make a lot of sense if we could have multiple ones per squadron. Like one with shorter jump range, but has more facilities like refitting and stuff like that. You could just move around the bubble. And then maybe one with longer jump range, but will have fewer facilities on board that you could use if you want to go on long range trips. Whatever, something like that. That's a pretty little planet. Okay, where did I aim? Did I actually aim between the planet and the rings? No, I didn't. I put the ship there. Zoom out a bit, maybe. Deep space mining. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, we already discussed that, Oppressor, if the fleet carriers will be attackable by other players. My guess is no, but again, we don't know yet. Also interesting if it will be modular. I would like them to be modular, but I have a feeling they're not going to be. I have a feeling they're just going to be one model to start with that's going to have some basic stats. Yeah, and what about something like cargo? I mean, being able to store things inside them, like having a cargo hold in them would be really, really handy as well. Yeah. There's a lot of questions. A cargo hold would make them so much more interesting if you could store cargo, because that means that suddenly deep space mining can become a thing. Look at that planet. Okay, let's move on. That should be enough from this system. How many jumps do we have left? We've made it 8 jumps so far. Yeah, so Outbreak, I don't think, if we get storage, I don't think it's going to be, that it's going to be cross-player storage. I don't think you will have a common storage where everybody can put stuff in and everybody can take things out. Because that would enable player-to-player trade more in bulk rather than having to scoop things up with limpets. And as soon as you have that, then you begin to get a out-of-game market for items, where people begin to pay real-life money for materials. If something like you want to buy a ton of credits, well, people could just hand you over a bunch of void opals in a fleet carrier. So I don't think that we're gonna see player-to-player trade. I think it's a very conscious choice the Frontier has made not to include player-to-player trade in the game in order to avoid having that third-party market outside the game where people pay for materials in game. We don't have that in Elite, not as far as I am aware of, at least. And I think that's just down to the fact that it is fairly difficult to make transactions between players. It can be done with collector limits, but it is difficult. So I think if we're gonna, I mean, we have module storage, we have ship storage, we just need cargo storage. I think it would be a natural next step for Frontier to do something like that. But again, as I said, I don't think we're going to be able to do it across from players. But there could be like, just like in a, would have it also in a station. It would be natural to do it in the station as well while they were at it. So yeah. But storage would definitely be a welcoming quality of life change. And this would be some of those, like, if Frontier's going to do storage, this is going to be one of those things that they're not going to announce until the very last moment, I think. It's one of those, like, huge quality of life updates that they like to be sitting on, not telling everybody, and then just putting it out there just before the patch goes live to like, increase the hype a bit just as the patch is about to go live. I don't know. I don't think... Yeah, I don't think they're gonna add player trading. I might be wrong. Yeah, but microtransactions and player-to-player trading are two completely different beasts. It'd be cool if you could install service base and repair. Yeah, I mean, I hope we're going to be able to do the modular so we can outfit them and customize them for the purposes that we want. But I'm not sure. I mean, if we already have a pretty clear indication that Space Lakes is going to be coming in the end of next year, in the last half of next year. And it would be natural that now that we're getting fleet carriers, that they would somehow prepare them for Space Lakes as well. So far, it seems that it's mainly going to be on planetary surfaces. That is the guess, at least, since they are hiring people to do NPC AIs to drive SRVs on planets specifically. But it would be natural that now that they are doing the fleet carriers, that they would also prepare them to be walkable once Space Lakes comes out. That would be pretty awesome, I think. What do we have in this system? Nothing. Yeah, no Space Lakes yet. What else? I had some more topics I wanted to talk about. Let me just check up on that real quick. Where did I put my notes? We talked about them being attackable. Oh, hold on. Whee, there we go. SpaceX has not been confirmed. We have just seen so many indications and so many... yeah. There was the leaks that has so far been pretty accurate on very specific details that said the SpaceX was gonna come in Elite Dangerous, aka Project Watson. And also the fact that Frontier is hiring people to write AIs for SRVs also indicates that it's kind of the way we're going. Could leak of a coffee market. Yeah, exactly as Revco says here, the Frontier leaks on other games was on point. I'll point on, so I think those by now have been pretty much confirmed that they must be, but of course it hasn't been officially confirmed by Frontier, but by now it's one of those public secrets, like everybody knows it, but nobody's saying that we all know. I mean, everybody's talking about it, but Frontier's not acknowledging it yet. They're gonna take it at their own pace, but everybody should pretty much expect that it's gonna happen and takes it as a fact that we're gonna get space links. Throttle down, let's see what we have here. No, nothing. Wonder who leaked the... I think the leaking of the trailer was an honest mistake. Because what probably would happen is either they uploaded it and they by accident had their default. So when you upload videos to YouTube, you can set your defaults to when you upload it, should they be public, unlisted, or private. And most commonly you would put them either unlisted or private. But if they haven't set up their YouTube channel correctly, they could have uploaded it and then by accident made it public right away. That is one option. The other option is that because it was like the day before, and so it could also have been that what they were gonna do was they want to go in and schedule it, but instead of selecting schedule, they selected publish, or they put in the wrong date for the scheduling. Maybe they put it in one day early. I mean, if they have scheduled it, they could have scheduled it weeks in advance, like weeks ago, and then they just clicked one day off because it was like the day before that it suddenly went live. So if they just selected one wrong day on that calendar, like there's a small calendar pop-up that comes up when you are trying to schedule a video. One day off, it went live too early, they took it down really quickly, but at that point, of course, it's already been captured and everybody's been like all over it. Yeah, it could also just have been as Walter said, the LateCon start day was the Friday. It could also just have been a miscommunication. Maybe they thought that that was supposed to be published on Friday, but they did it on, or maybe, and they did it. Maybe try again. Maybe they thought it was supposed to be published on Friday, but it wasn't. I think it was just an honest mistake. I don't think there was anybody who intentionally leaked that too early. Because if someone was going to leak a video, why would you do it one day early? I mean, if they were planning to release it next day anyway. No, this seems... It seems like a mistake. I don't think this was intended. Yeah, exactly. Hype for one day. I mean, they would have... So, okay, imagine this. They launched... Imagine that this was actually planned. So they launched the video and then they immediately take it down after the whole hype train has started. Would it have created less hype if they had waited a day and done it together with the announcement at LateCon? I don't think so. I think it would have pretty much created the same level of hype. improper handoff to due to community manager. Yeah, I mean, it could be. They just got a new community manager, Steven, I believe his name was, who will be taking over from Will, which, I mean, it was natural that was going to happen eventually, because I think after Ed, he left, then Will got Ed's position as kind of a general manager for the community team. But that, of course, meant that then Will was both doing the general managing of them, and also, I think this is how they're structured, I'm not 100% sure, but I think now Will is doing the general managing, and he was also doing Elite, so he was kind of having, like, 2 seats at the same time. So it was natural that they would be looking for a new community manager that would be focusing solely on Elite, and we got one now. I don't think it has anything to do with that, but, well, who knows. Anyway, I don't think that it was a planned leak to launch that video earlier. I think it was just an honest mistake, to be honest. Yeah, as I said, could be an upload error, it could be many things, but on purpose, I don't think it's one of them. Thank you, hashtag. Thanks for dropping by. Fleet carriers orbiting secretary today. Yeah. You have heard from the city land that Elite will be free to play. Have you guys heard that rumors? As far as I know, the next expansion that we're gonna get, the next big expansion, is gonna be a paid DLC. That's the latest news I've heard. So unless something else has happened that I'm not aware of, I don't think they're gonna make the game free to play. Oh, I didn't check this system, did I? No, still nothing here that I want to spend too much time on in the interest of keeping keeping the wills. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, like, I would be really surprised if Obsidian was out and saying the game would be free to play. Then he knows something that I don't, at least. Posted on shit that he specifically said it will not be free to play. Yeah, that's also my understanding. That the next update is going to be a paid update. The question is what they will do with the Horizon update, because so they have a new DLC now, right? And if that comes out, and you then, when you come in as a new player, then you have to buy first the base game, then Horizons, and then whatever the next update's gonna be. That's gonna be a lot of cash to hand out for a game. So I'm considering if they're gonna make Horizon free, so you buy the base game, yeah, so maybe you buy the base game, you get Horizon as part of the deal, and then you can then buy the whatever that new DLC is gonna be named as a separate thing also. Yeah, let's just refer to it as the big update. Yeah, exactly. Or they, as was supposed to be on Twitch, or just package them together. They would just stop selling the base game on its own. You can now just buy Elite Dangerous and Horizon in one package, and then it will drop the price down to something a little bit lower than what it is right now. Oh yeah, just refer to us as Watson, who also do good here. Nothing there. Yeah, question is how many people only has the base game. That's how accurate are the Steam charts? Nah, okay, they don't split that up, unfortunately. I wanted to see if we could see the difference, but they don't have that detailed graphs on Steam, so I don't know. But by now, I mean, every player who plays the game, I guess, semi-seriously, they will have Horizons, I think. What would be the first use of the carriers? I personally think the first use of them would be as a mobile platform. Either for BGS work, so you could put it close to a conflict zone, or use it as mass storage for ships for a whole squadron, so you could move that around. Could be both. Would the introduction of easy-to-use microtransactions make the further DLCs free? So, whoa! Holy shit! Did you see that? What the hell? I dropped inside the scoopable zone. What? I gotta do that again. Can you own a fleet carrier yourself? Well, you could technically, you could just make a one-man squadron, and maybe you could be able to make one for yourself. But I'm not sure. I don't think so. Where are we? We're here. Wait, we jumped from that system? Let's go back. But I think the squadron leaders will be the ones that are going to be able to move the ship around. But I think everybody in the squadron will be able to access it and use the facilities. Would you recommend buying Horizons right now if someone were to buy the game? Yeah, I would, because again, this update, remember, it could be over a year away from now. Playing Elite Dangerous for a year without Horizon? Nah. So I would definitely say if someone is gonna get into the game now and want to start out on Elite, I would get the... Definitely go get the... get Horizons as well. Okay, here we go again. This is gonna end horribly wrong, isn't it? Gonna end up getting my ship destroyed if I keep doing this. Not as scary this time because of the rotation of the ship, but still. Oh, hold on. We're overheating a bit. We should probably get away from here before we begin to cook our ship. Someone has clearly been here before me. Okay, let's set our destination again. Oh, we're getting so close now. I really want to make it here today. There we go. How far is it? 30 jumps. Go, go, go. Ship health is doing okay. Modules should be okay as well. Most are in the 98, 99%. So, doing just fine. Are we there yet? How many ships do I own? On this character, not a whole lot. On my other ones, I lost track. Okay. Outback says here that in the feedback for the fleet carriers, you said you will need to be a minimum of 5 in a squadron to build a fleet carrier. That's a fair way to go about it, I guess. Just one body if we just jump. It's basically say you would need a certain number of people in order to even consider building a fleet carrier. Jump range on the Python here, asked over on Twitch, is... Well, now we can't see it. I think it's around 45 light years. Best money grind at the moment, mining. Mining, mining, mining. Yeah, it's not terrible. Let's see if I have it here. Yeah, 45. It's not terrible. I mean, it's not amazing, but it's okay. Did I honk this one? Don't think I did. Any cargo space in fleet carriers? We don't know yet. I hope so. I'm not sure I would say most likely there will be cargo, but I think it would be nice if there were. I'm pretty sure I hope at least we'll be able to have stuff like ship storage and module storage in them. No, we don't know anything about the internals of the fleet carriers at all, but I really hope that we're gonna be able to get, yeah, both ship and module storage and cargo storage now that we're at it. Thanks a lot for the follow on Twitch. 24 buddies. Let's see what we got. Meh. Meh. Keep the jumps rolling in. What ship to buy as your first ship? Cobra Mark III would be my suggestion. It does pretty much everything okay. It's a decent combat ship. It can be refitted for trading if you want. It can do some... I guess you can do mining in a Cobra if you want to. Can you? I'm actually not sure. Yeah, you should be able to. Okay, but... yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, ask if you want to go exploring, or if you want to have a cheap bubble bus, you can always just go with a Diamondback Explorer. If you want to continue down the multi-purpose line, then a Python is good if you want to go medium-sized ships. And then an Anaconda if you want to go with the bigger ships. But by then you probably, when you get up to that part of the game, you should probably begin to zone in on what kind of things you want to focus on to start with at least. No, I wouldn't buy a DBX as a Diamondback Explorer as the first ship, but when you kind of grow out of the Cobra and you begin to look into buying your first medium ship, that's when I would consider buying a Diamondback, because they are dirt cheap and you can get some really amazing jump ranges out of it, and then make them amazing for bubble buses. Yes, the fuel scoop is crabby, but for a bubble bus, when you just need something that's going to allow you to move around inside the bubble and have a SRV so you can go and begin, maybe look into engineering or just to land on planets, then the Diamondback is a perfect ship for early game for that kind of stuff. So just to move you around, I would that would be my the way I would progress, I think. Oh, hello. Just quickly finish that. Oh my god, this scan takes forever. Only thing in here that hasn't been discovered is this high metal content world. Well, that's very blue. I'm just gonna quickly go in and turn orbit line on so I can hopefully see. Should we supercharge? Is this a neutron star, right? Why does this just keep scanning? I'm not that far away. I don't want to go closer. Yeah, it's a neutron star. Oh, that's because I did include neutron jumping. Look at that. We actually have a few neutron stars on our way here. We have one here. Then we have one up here. That seems like a weird plot. Why does it go from there to there to there? Why does it go... Okay. We have one over here. And I think that's the only one. Yeah. Okay. In that case, we just have to go and do the supercharge, I guess. Okay, here we go. Nice and slow. Listen to that. And get out again. Perfect. Next system, 179 light years away. See you there. Godspeed, yeah. That's okay, Snorri. I was just surprised if Frontier was planning to make Elite Dangerous free to play. That seemed like an odd choice, and completely opposite of what they've been saying so far. Okay, that went well. I don't think we damaged anything too badly. Let's turn orbit lines off again. Just have a quick look here. Mainly the FSD is what I'm worried about. Where did they go? 98, still good. Game is free to play. Just need to buy it once. I don't think that's how free to play works. DGS says, nice to see you do a neutron jump as I have not done one before. They're not that difficult once you get your head around it. I actually have a video coming out maybe this week, maybe next week. I'm not 100% sure when that will be put in, but I do have a video coming out where I'm going to talk about how to do neutron jumping. $19 buddies. Oh, hold on. No. Oh, you're just so close to the Earth-like area. But no. No, no. $23 jumps. How much time do we have left? Ah, it should be doable. Unless we come across something very interesting. What's up, reaction craft? Where are you at? You're stuck somewhere waiting for the fuel rats, or what's going on? Reaction craft, where are you at? We're gonna have personal fleet carriers. I doubt that. Dive a little deeper in this star here to just get that fuel tank topped off. Ran out of fuel and now you're orbiting a neutron star with my ship powered down to save fuel. Waiting for... Hold on. Waiting for the expedition rescue ship to pick me up. Where in, like, what quadrant of space, or what sector of space are you in? Reaction craft, if you're about to run out of fuel to keep your life support running, log out of the game. Log out to the main menu and wait for the rescue ship to be there, then log in again. I mean, if it means you're gonna avoid losing your ship, then okay, Outbreak, thanks a lot for joining. Rescue mission incoming. We may have personal fleet carriers, but I think we discussed earlier that that during the feedback, one of the things Frontier mentioned, I mean, again, we have to remember that what they've said in the past iteration of fleet carriers might not be what they're doing now. I mean, there must be a reason why they pulled it. But there was said that you would need to be at least 5 players in a fleet carrier, in a squadron, sorry, in order to actually build a fleet carrier. So I don't think we're going to be able to see personal fleet carriers. Sparrow, how's it going? Going great. How much do you think they're going to cost? I'm thinking about 30 billion mark. I hope that they're going to be more than just credits. I don't think you're just going to buy them from the outfitting hangar. I hope that they're going to be something you can, you have to build as a community. I mean, I know at least one person who could then actually make his own squadron and then have a personal fleet carrier if he wanted to. I mean, if you have 5 accounts, you can do it. I don't think they're going to be as expensive as the station repair numbers. Oh, hello. Dirac, thanks a lot for becoming a member and joining the channel. Awesome. Hello and welcome. Oh, did I honk this? Yeah, I did. 19 system. Sponsor, that's right. That's the term YouTube use. Okay, let's move on and talk a little bit about the new ARC system. What do you guys think about it? In case you don't know, we can do a quick recap of that as well. So they're going to go away from the idea of having the store on a separate homepage outside of the game. And they're gonna move it solely in-game. For those of you who are playing on console, this will be pretty familiar to you. Darek says, you've been watching your videos for a while, you seem cool. Thank you. But they're gonna move it in-game, they're gonna give it a general overhaul, but it's basically gonna be the same stuff as you could buy before, it's just, now it's just in-game. But I think some of the huge things they're doing with ARCs is, first of all, that you're going to be able to earn them in-game. You're going to be able to earn them from playing the game. And this Frontier said that they want to try and make it so that you don't have to go and do a specific thing to earn ARCs. So it's not like they add some kind of new, now you have to go there and do a specific thing over and over again in order to get your ARCs. You should be able to get them through normal gameplay. That seems at least what they're aiming for. How exactly that's going to work, I don't know. But they've also said there's going to be a weekly limit to how much you can earn in-game, and then of course you can buy them for real-life money that you can then use to buy paint jobs and all the stuff you can already buy today. No cosmetics, only cosmetics, no pay-to-win stuff. It's going to be pure cosmetics. Ingress had the same. Because it didn't. But again, or Dongle, or if you have a little bit left, you will earn them in-game anyway. So you will always have some left when you buy some. And if that's the case, then you can just earn enough in-game to buy yourself an extra paint job. Daily login, I think it's going to be more than just login. I think you will actually have to do something in game, like go out and do something. But I hope they're going to make it so that you can earn it both through through all types of gameplay, like both exploration and mining and missions and all kinds of stuff, in order to get your hands on these kind of things. But there's another thing, and this has not been talked about very much, that I think is really, really cool. And that is the fact that Frontier is going away from the cosmetic packs idea. So right now, if you want a paint job, it might be part of a pack with, let's say, 6 other paint jobs or 5 other paint jobs. And you have to buy the full pack, all of them, in order to get that one paint job that you want. I think it seems like they're gonna go away from that and split it out so you can buy every single paint job individually without having to buy a full pack. So that should mean you would have to spend overall less money on your paint jobs. Both because you can get some of it from just playing the game normally, and also because you don't have to pay for an expensive pack just to get a single paint job. Yeah, some of them are, yeah, but then maybe there will be even less now if you just want one paint job. I hope so, at least. You can never have enough spoilers. Nope. What do we have here? We had being able to earn cosmetic in game instead of paying real money sounds great. You're going to hold off and not buy any more cosmetics between now and then. Don't tell F that. The Sparrow says, kind of like the ARC systems, as it feels like the station is selling them to the player. Exactly. That instead of it being something you buy out of game and it breaks that all-important immersion, now it's actually being bought in game, which makes sense. Next, you can buy raw. I don't hope they're gonna go that way and allow you to buy material packs for ARCs. If you suddenly could begin to buy like a bunch of pharmaceutical isolators just because people are talking about it in chat for ARCs, I really don't hope they're gonna go that way, because yeah, you could argue, as Douglas said, you could get the same thing in game and it would be technically pay to progress rather than pay to win, but really, I don't hope they're gonna go. They have said that it's gonna be purely cosmetics that they're gonna sell. So I don't think they're gonna go that way. I don't think they're gonna begin selling material packs. I wish it would be in the station and not the main menu. I think you got something confused there, JP. You can both do it as you do now in the station, but you can also do it in the main menu. You can do it in both places if you want to change the cosmetics on your ships. Yeah, okay, Robert, that's a fair point. Let's talk about the realism of explorers just changing their paint job out in the middle of nowhere. Well, if you carry paint and you have a spacesuit, I guess, and enough time, you could just go out and paint it. We prefer to have a player market to sell commodities and materials instead of using ARCs. I don't think you can use ARCs. I mean, cosmetics, I'm sorry, not commodities and materials will have nothing to do with ARCs. ARCs is, it's gonna be cosmetics only. That's at least what we know for now. Paint limpets confirmed. Yeah. Or you could actually fit a paint gun on your ship so you could go and you could paint other ships. Or make the paint limpet explode on an enemy ship's canopy so he can't see a thing. Oh, what do we have here? Is that an ice world? Or is that an Earth? Like, I think it's an ice world, but God, it's close. Let's see if we can find it real quick here. Nah. It's somewhere in there. I think. Okay, just begin to scan. I'm pretty sure it's an ice world, but I don't want to miss an Earth like if it is. There's probably something like a gas giant in there, in the middle.
Can we all please forget the embarrassing situation I got myself into because I thought I could do another jump without checking the next star on the route? Please, smiley face.
That's a good way to make people forget. Have text-to-speech read it out loud on the stream. Did you get your ship sorted out, Reaction Craft? Nah, wasn't there. Where is it? Okay, it's right there. Yeah, it's a rocky ice world. It's not enough like. Okay. In that case, we're just gonna move on. I'm not awake, but I'm never gonna do this again. Ah, okay. Sorry over there on Twitch said note the cosmetics are only for cosmetics replying to previous comments. Yeah, okay. Good. No more one more jump moments. Dongalore says Arx is gonna be pay to win / pay to progress after 6 months. I promise you. I really hope not, but it would be a, I don't know, having a game that both has a premium upfront with paid DLCs price and also have pay to win in the game or pay to progress if you want. Call it what you want. I think that's gonna get a pretty negative backlash from the community. Do I think a player market would be good for Elite? See, I would love to have a player market. I would love to have a market that is more dynamic and controlled by players, where players could actually put things up for sale and others could then buy it. And then have the prices evolve more naturally. It would have the effect that something like Void Opals would drop in price immediately because nobody wants to buy them. Unless you would still have NPCs just buying up bulk of material to kind of keep the market flowing. But problem is that large majorities of the components in the game has no use other than just being tradable materials. And as long as they don't have a use, they don't have a value for players. I mean, you could go and buy out, let's say, something like personal weapons, right? They have no use. They are just a tradable material or harvesting equipment or whatever you're going to buy. They have no use, so they have no value for a player. So if they're going to implement a player market, it would have to be for something like engineering materials and data, because that has an actual use and there is a sink on those items. Those items disappear out of the game again as people begin to engineer their ships. So they could make a market for that, but as I discussed earlier in the stream, if they do it, they also open up for third parties suddenly beginning to sell these materials for real life money. We see it in pretty much every single game where you are able to trade between players, that you're going to be able to suddenly go out to a third party site, hand over your credit card, and you will be able to buy some stuff from other players in game. So I don't think that would be very beneficial for the game. I would love to see a trading system, but they would have to limit it somehow, I think. Maybe so that you could only do it within a squadron, that you would have to have been in a... Let's say you said you could only trade within a squadron. So yeah, maybe... Then we talk about fleet carriers, if they're only accessible by the people in the squadron. If you put like some kind of time limit on it and said you can only trade with people in a squadron if you have been part of that squadron for 24 hours... yeah, that's another... Could arcs be tradable like Warframe Platinum? I'm not familiar with the Warframe premium currency system. What are we doing? 9 jumps! Yeah, that's a really good trading system in Path of Exile, but Path of Exile also has third-party sites where you can buy orbs and other currency items. And I think that's what Frontier wants to avoid as much as they possibly can. But I think, so you could go back to the whole cargo, we were talking earlier about like a common cargo hold for all squadron members in fleet carriers. It could work if they put some limitations on it to prevent people from just trading directly with new players. So you don't have people just join a squadron, execute a trade through that hangar thing, and then people would leave again. Of course, there is the point that if they detect people doing something like that, they could ban the account, and then people would have to go out, the people selling would go out and buy a new account, and it could become quite expensive, so they would have to make more money than the value of the account in order for that to be profitable. But that would just put a lot of work on Frontier's shoulders to try and constantly monitor people and make sure that they would try to catch these kind of people. Overall, it would change. It would change the field for Elite a lot. I would love to see a trade system, but I know, as I said, there is some drawbacks, and I'm not 100% sure if it would be beneficial, if it would add that much to a game like Elite. Is it possible to change squadrons? Yeah, you can change squadrons. I don't know if there's a cooldown or anything, but you can definitely change squadrons. Yeah, that's as Mike DC also said that you could make like long cooldowns for switching squadrons. That could be a very easy way to do it. I'd basically say, okay, you can if you join us, like if you leave a squadron, you can't join another squadron in, let's say, a week or 5 days or something like that, to discourage people from doing it. It wouldn't. A mechanic like that wouldn't really hurt the normal players, because normal players wouldn't be joining and leaving squadrons all the time. Now there's no cooldown that's right now, but if they could do a cooldown from swapping, I mean, very few players would be affected by it if they put in a cooldown. I think it would be okay, I don't know, but it's all just to try and work around that, having a player market. And again, it would really only make sense to make a player market for engineering materials. Six jumps to go. Now I really hope that my intel here was correct. Let's see if I can find that again. Otherwise, I've been flying all the way out here and haven't really gotten any closer to Colonia. for nothing. Hello, Tony. I'm currently in, I think I'm in open, but I'm like 9,000 light years outside of the bubble, so it doesn't really matter which game mode I'm in by this point, I think. I think we got nothing here either. Oh, what is that? Oh, that could actually be a water world. We actually do have a water world here. You know what? Let's scan this system then. And there's the water world right away. And this is probably the moon around it. Yeah. Okay, it doesn't mean out here. It doesn't really matter what game mode you're in. I mean, there's pretty much no one around. Okay, got a gas giant and then probably a ton of moons around it here. What key do you press to activate starport services and return to surface? Mine doesn't work. Look in your key bindings. It depends how you set it up. Is that another gas giant? Yes, it is. And then we just put it here in this area where we have all those moons. That one there. There's two of them here, it seems. Oh, this is something else. There we go. Favorite HOTAS? See, that's a difficult question because I've really only tried two. I've tried the X52 Pro and I've tried the X56. Of the two, I think my favorite is the X52 Pro. But there are a lot of other options out there, many of which I haven't tried. Another gas giant. Can PS4 players use VR in Elite? I think so. Yeah, if you want to go and dive into the more expensive HOTASes, you can begin to spend a lot of money on that real quick. This is interesting. Look at this. We are watching this planet from the top down of its orbital plane, even though we are sitting right next to the star. Planet 12 seems to be a little bit odd, if you ask me. How far are we? We have one more. And it's there. it's fairly well aligned at the plane. But if we zoom in on this, look how all the moons are off on a... That is really odd. You know what? I have to go out and have a look at that one. Just getting into PC. What's the best bang for buck hotels currently? I mean, that depends on your price point, I guess. Where you want to be in terms of price. I know Thrustmaster has a lot of joysticks that a lot of people really enjoy. Otherwise, the X52 Pro or just the normal X52, both solid options. Okay, slow us down here a bit. What I want to know is... Now we have the orbit plane, but I want to see if I can see the rotation of the planet itself. You know what, I should actually be able to just read that off the star stat sheet in here. We go back. No, I just go to this map. Axis tilt 70. Okay, so it is actually tilted. Interesting. Yeah, I could see that. See, so the rotation here is completely off. What on earth has happened since you can get a gas giant to tilt 70 degrees off its axis? Look how that thing is tilted. Something serious has happened in the... I mean, this one must clearly have been created together with the rest of the system. Because if we look at the orbital plane, first of all, it's nice and round, I hope. Yes, it's pretty much a perfect circle. 0.001. So it's a perfect circle. And the orbital inclination is also 0.04 degrees. So it's pretty much... perfect circle in the system plane. But it has an axis tilt of over 70 degrees. It's pretty much been flipped over on... no, I don't think it's a rogue planet. Snark, this says over there it's a rogue planet. I don't think it is, because if it was a rogue planet, it wouldn't make sense that it had such a round orbit and that it was so close to the orbital plane. So this one has clearly been created at the same time as the rest of the system. But something has happened. Something has caused this that part of the system. There must have been like something coming by, flew by the system in the early stages, causing that cloud part of the system to like swirl in another direction like that, instead of normally it would just swirl around then form. That's why they all are lined up like that. But something must have come by and disturbed the system in the very early stages of the system's life. It might have been like a huge captured object, or maybe there was another planet in the early life that was another gas giant about the same size, about they would then be two gas giants half the size that collided, that could have tilted this off the axis. That could have been a reason why we are seeing this the way it is like now. But again, this must have happened before the moons were created, because if there was just the gas giants colliding, we wouldn't see the moons lying in such a perfect plane. So that means that this has happened so early in the system's life that that the moons weren't created yet. They must have been created after this planet was kicked over on the side. Tim says, excuse my ignorance, don't. You're always welcome to ask questions. Are gas giants all gas, or do they have a core with gas around them? My guess is, I don't think we actually know, but I think my guess is that they do have a core somewhere in there in the middle. But the pressure in there would be so high that it would be impossible to get anything down there, at least of anything that we can build today. So we don't really have anything that can get down there. We can try to penetrate it, but again, it's really thick cloud cover, and they are big, so you have a lot of atmosphere to penetrate. But my guess is that there is a solid core inside gas giants, but again, it's not something that we are absolutely sure about. Interesting. But that was not why we're actually here. We're here to explore the water world. Are we there yet? We are not that many jumps away now. What time is that even? Okay, we can go a little bit over time today. We only have 5 jumps for the destination. Yeah, exactly. So you keep asking, Dunklore, I'll drop you off on one of those moons. What would be the worst moon you could possibly be stranded on in this system here? Could we find like the least hospitable moon? I mean, you could always go like a barren moon with no atmosphere. All of these are pretty cold. And these are even colder, and these are probably even colder again, yeah. But they all have no atmosphere. And again, gas giants are not that fun. This one's pretty hot. Over 1000 Kelvin. Oh, wow. Look at the atmospheric pressure. 200 atmospheres. The pressure on the surface of these planets is 200 times the pressure of Earth's atmosphere. That would not be pleasant, and it is very hot. Over 1000 Kelvin. Okay, let's get this thing. Quickly mapped, and then let's move on. We are so close, and I really, really hope that's gonna be awesome. What? Crinsburn says we should switch to AA from Kelvin as SI unit for temperature. AA? Oh. Okay, 7 probes should be fairly straightforward. we go. Anonymous atmospheres. Astro's apartment. Perfect, even with the efficiency target. Okay. Go, go, go. Next system. Recheck the fleet carrier vote, please. Okay, hold on. Gonna crash into a star, haven't I? We still have Big Dave on top with 7 votes. Then we have Carlos Memorial on the 2nd place with 6 votes. We have the Holy Cucumber on the 3rd place with 3 votes, together with Spirit of Astros and Carlos Revenge. Then we have, with 1 vote, we have the Ghost of Carlos and Down To Earth Fleet Carrier. Or Down To Fleet Carrier. Down to... Can't even pronounce it. Down To Fleet Carrier. Data scan complete. Stop spamming me. Anything in faction news? No, only the news spin out. Where are we at the moment? Ashumindi. Ashumindi is getting real close. 56%. Plus 4%, that's nice. Seven bodies discovered. Nope, nothing here I want to scan. No, I don't think we're going to be able to see single players flying carriers. I think you would be able, as we discussed already, that you'll be able to. It would have to be a certain number of players in a squadron in order to even consider buying a carrier, for you will have the ability to do it. Yeah, if they're even gonna be nameable, I hope they're gonna be nameable, but that also, I mean, I guess we can name our ships, so yeah, of course they will be nameable. I thought that would also allow people to sort of put something in the game that they can call all kinds of, I mean, potentially, if let's say you could have multiple carriers, we could potentially build a carrier, park it outside Shinrata and call it subscribe to Down To Earth Astronomy, if you wanted to. Probably wouldn't do that, but you could if you really wanted to. Oh, we're getting close now. System names are beginning to look right. About half fuel. Just make sure we have plenty of fuel before we get into the final system. And with... Oops. Let's try that again. Is that the next system then? I think it is the next system. Can we just cross-reference here? QEAJO CZ-N C20-15. Yeah. Don't have full tank, that's okay. Yeah, yeah. It's a, again, we're not sure how costly it's going to be to move them either. But I hope not too costly. But again, they shouldn't be free either. I think. I mean, they could be, but then you'll just move around. And if they're free to move, there should be a cooldown, I think. Yeah, that's a good question. If fleet carriers will have a, if squadrons will have a cap of the number of fleet carriers, I don't know. I hope not. At least if there is a cap, I hope it's going to be a fairly large one. Okay, just gonna finish my scooping here, and I do believe the system has been discovered. Yeah, pretty much. But just for good measures, I'm going to scan it as well. Did I honk the system? Now I did. $31 is not too bad. Should be fairly quick. Especially some of the gas giants had a lot of moons. They're often fairly quick because they're all the same type and they're all clumped together. So that should be okay. And I think there's a gas giant there. Or not. Wow. Oh. Ringed ice body. Is that another? No. Should be more gas giants. That one's a gas giant. I can see the moons around it. Up to 18. Da-da-da. How far are we? 24 now. Okay, 6 more to go. And it looks like they are all over here. Oh, there are more. Okay, zoom in a bit more. System scan complete. Blood of 12. Hello and welcome. Okay, so A, B, 1. D, A, B, C, D. That one. Want your own Farragut? I don't think it's going to be those kind of ships we're going to be able to get. Yeah, I hope if they're going to make the... okay, so they probably are going to make them fuelable, but I hope the fuel will be a new separate commodity. Because if it's just normal fuel, it would be a little boring having to go out to a star, scoop, go back, hand back fuel, and then go back and forth and just scoop up all the time. Instead, what I hope they'll do is they'll make the material in such a way that you can get it through multiple ways of gameplay. Both through, like, prospecting on planets, mining, maybe they'll drop from some ships when you shoot them in combat. Maybe you'll be able to straight up buy it on a station if you want just to hand over cash. I know we don't know how much they'll cost, but I hope that's how you can refuel them, so there's multiple ways and people can use the gameplay that they like in the game to refuel their carriers. That is true. We have done nothing with the King and Admiral rank so far, so if they could be used for fleet carriers, so you needed a very high rank in order to be able to even start that. I've seen a lot of people guessing around the 5 billion mark, which, to be fair, is a lot of money, but it's still within the reach of a community of 5 people, I would say. Almost there. I hope this is as it showed. Oops. 5 billion is in the reach of a single player. Yeah, it is. It will take some time. I mean, it's quite a few hours to invest, but you can definitely do it. And if you really put your mind to it, you might even be able to do it in the weekend. But then that's a lot of mining in one weekend. Oops. Look at those mountains. There we go. This is why we're here. Look at that. Looks like you could land there on the top. Gonna cut it real close here. .8 G, not that bad. No, right, we're 0.06 Gs right now. Breaking news, Astro killed himself on a colonial trip by trying to land on a mountain. Ah, this looks fairly flat. I could land that here. Unsuitable terrain? Nah. And nice and slowly. How does a mountain range like that form? Well, we can look at that in a bit. SRV jump down? Nah. Oh, no, that's a bad idea. Look at that. Now jump. No. This is the only SRV I have with me. Oh, hold on. It's actually slightly higher up there. Let's just make sure we get to the summit. Yeah, I would love to have taken two, but there was no room in the ship, so only one. Yeah, and look at this. If we do a little camera trickery here, we can actually use the if we take a screenshot like that, but if we zoom out a bit, we get that fisheye effect that kind of makes it look like we're even higher because you can see so much of the curvature. I love this. See, this is one of those reasons why I just love Elite. On the top of the world. Oh, I want to go up to that peak over there as well. Have a look. Oh, reverse, please. Thank you. Yeah, it's a long way down, so... Where was that peak we were looking for? Oh, over there. Okay. We have to go all the way up there. That's far. Drive assist off. And then you should be careful, but that means that we'll keep rolling when I stop. Still that way. I'm a little afraid now to look over the chat too much when I'm driving, because if I drive too far, it's gonna be a long way down. Here we go. Put drive assist off. Look at that, it's just like a sheer wall. And the chat will enjoy it AF. Yeah. I've actually done that before. Done a repair mid-bounce. I love this. Right view of the hill climb. Yeah. Oh, there's just something in me. I want to jump off the top, just see. But I don't want to lose my SRV. Should we try to have a look at how a planet like this could have been formed? Just for good measures, I'm gonna get back in something that can actually fly so I don't drive myself off somewhere by accident. I'm definitely gonna spend some more time up here. Whee! Oh, oh, shit. That could have gone really, really bad. How deep was that? Oh, okay. It wasn't that bad. I was just a small dip in the ground. It just looked like that could potentially have been... That could have gone really good. Yeah. I guess that depends. Yes, exactly. Oh, the temptation. I so much want to jump it off the side of the... I'm strongly considering just sacrificing my SRV, because I'm planning to go in a straight line from here to Colonia. I cut across. How close am I to Colonia even? But I don't want to not have an SRV when I get there, because that would kind of suck. Okay, I'm 19,000. But it would just really be a shame if I'm traveling all this way and I come across a planet, but I can't land because no SRV. I'd have to see if I could find a station somewhere where I could restock one, but yeah. Let's go ahead and just have a look at this moon and just see how this could have been formed. Okay, so what do we have here? We have a very, very fast orbiting moon. Can you actually see it if you just zoom in? Yeah, look at that. You know what? There might actually be some even more epic mountain ranges up there on the North Pole. It's like a little spike ball. Those one over there look pretty big as well. I wonder if some of the other ones has the same issue. Or issue was, I don't want to call it issue. And these are pretty high mountains as well. Not as high, but definitely not small. Same story here. This one has an atmosphere. So we can't zoom in on that. All of them are small spiky balls. Okay, so let's have a quick look here. Orbital period. Oh, they're only showing the orbital, like the semi-major axis in light years, or certain light years in astronomical units. But it's a really fast orbiting moon. I mean, 2.5 days for a full circle. That's pretty quick. But, I mean, all of these semi-major axis 0, 0, 0, 0, 1.1. So we just not have enough to get an accurate measurement of the distance that they're actually orbiting here. We could calculate it. So what often happens when you have moons like this, and it's actually more often craters. If you want to find planets or moons with really, really deep craters, or canyons, you would often look for moons orbiting really, really close to a big, heavy gas giant. The bigger the gas giant, the closer the moon is, the better. Because what happens is you have tidal forces on the planet. Because the planet is so close to a massive object, if you know basic orbital mechanics, you will know if you are closer to a planet, you will orbit faster, and if you're further away, you will orbit slower. Like, it will take you longer to go around. So when you have a moon that's close to a big object, the side facing the planet will be pulled forward faster than the backside of the planet, the one further away. So that would kind of stretch, like there would be a tidal force on the planet trying to force the inside forward and push the backside the other way. That causes the surface of the moon to crack, causing these big canyons. how that would, because it seems like it's the opposite thing happening here, where instead of things being pulled away, it seems like stuff is being pushed together in order to form these like massive mountains. Fellowship planet. That's a really I'm gonna have a field day trying to explore this planet. I'm gonna head up to that mountain range up there in the north. I want to go up there and have a look as well. You can actually see it here. We can see there are canyons on the planet. You can see all those marks here. These are most likely not from water. I don't think... What's the atmosphere like? There's no atmosphere. So these would not be made by water, what they might look like, but then they're not. These are actually the surface of the planet being cracked due to the tidal forces on the moon itself. But what would cause the mountains to form like that? I'm not sure. Yeah, but again, I mean, I can see the North Pole. We can see the line going there. It's pretty much straight into one of the biggest mountains in the area. So if I just go due north until I hit the mountain, then it should be fairly easy to find. But yeah, it would be nice if we could. Yeah, but there's no volcanism on the planet either. So that's not it either. Yeah, exactly. No stuff that could have created those like that. I mean, the cracks we can explain, but the mountains, I'm not so sure. That one right there just looks like a sheer wall. Like, look at that from the side. That one right here underneath the mouth. That just looks like a wall. Could be where Ensign Canyons meets and collide. It could be that it's just the plates as they're being moved around sometimes just cause it. Yeah, exactly. They don't look like impact craters either. They are too pointy to be impact craters. It just looks so nice with all those small spikes. I kind of want to like get the model and 3D print it. Ice crust on rocks. Yeah, that could be it. I mean, we have ice and we have quite a bit of rock and slight. I mean, it looks more like the opposite, that it's rock on ice, but it's most likely the other way around. I'm not sure. These were the Praxis Pyramids. Oh god, no. You know what we should do? Where is this video? No, it's in recordings, I think. That's right. Drops it, isn't it? Yeah. Can we get this into some place? Simi. Gonna call this Epic Mountains. Post those there. Okay. Okay. Let's just quickly here. That. Just quickly go and do that. Yeah, here we go. Which one do you guys like the most? Picture number 1 or picture number 2? Viking says, ask if I can give a quick explanation of how mountains are normally form, typically formed. Typically they are formed by tectonic plate movements, where the tectonic plates are being pushed together. Most of you guys seems to like number 2 the best. 2, 2, 2, plenty of 2s. Okay. And then 1. So that one, right? Number 1, number 2. In that case, what we'll be doing is we'll take that. Time for a new straw poll. I think we have, we don't think we need a straw poll. Okay, can we clean this up a little bit? The colors are a little washed out, so I want to see if I can make them stand out a little bit more, and should be able to just pull this down. No, that's not it. Hold on. Maybe light it up a little bit, not too much, just like so. And then adjust there, and then take some of that out again to make the blacks go really dark. I want a really dark sky like that. And I'm just for good measures here gonna drag in the original picture as well. So we can just swap between. You can see how all the, you have to look at this. It's like this is white film on top of the picture. Oops. Like that's the original. That's after. I'm just pulling some of that away to try to make the colors pop a little bit more. So the dark becomes darker, but yeah. Okay, let's continue. Should we just slightly saturate the colors? Not a lot. Don't want it to, I mean, don't want something like that. That's too much, right? But it's still, the colors are a little flat. So see, we can't pull out just a bit without it beginning to distort over there on the mountain. See the mountain over there in the background, the colors really begin to distort on it if I pull it up too much. So I just want a little bit of color. Like that. Is it too much? Maybe it's a little bit. Yeah, definitely see a difference. Is there anything else we want to play around with? We want to change the colors. Maybe is it a little yellow? Channels. Can we? Here we can play around even more with the colors of it, so we can pretty much go back to where we came from. Make it all dark again, but we don't want to do that. Let's cancel that. Yeah, we could try to make the blue pop a little bit. That could actually be fun. Let's try that just for fun. So let's go and check the blue values here. And then see if we can make that mountain pop out a little bit. How do we make that without... Problem is, I don't want it... So this is where we're at now, and we can See, that makes it all yellow. This is no good. This is too much there. Should we just try to pull out the mountain? Make the sky darker? I can try to make the sky a little darker. Go and play with the color balance on a bit, but let's see if we can do a little bit about the sky. I don't want to overdo it. There we go. It's not a whole lot. Don't want to lose too much detail on the SRV either. Okay, let's try to go with the color balancer here. So let's start with the midtones and let's move it all towards the blue a bit. There. And I could mask off the mountain and just play with that alone. But just playing with this slide, I can actually do a lot without touching too much on the rest of the picture. That's definitely a lot more blue than it. This is what it is now. It's a little yellow. Yeah, that's too much. Just there. I kind of actually like it where we get a little bit more of a red hue on the... And then the shadows, often it's a good idea when you have these kind of pictures in Elite. They often have a lot of blue in the shadows. So if I pull that, oh, okay, never mind. That was not a good idea. Can we try a little bit to play around with the highlights maybe? You could just change the colors of the stars basically. That's the only thing that counts as highlights in this picture. So it's pretty much just playing around with the midtones right now. Oh. Hue and saturation. We already played with that. I don't know. I don't know if I want to do much more with it. I think we got pretty far. Should we try just for fun to mask off the mountain and just play with that alone? We could do that. We'll have to do 2 masks, I think. Just looking for a good line we can go down. I think I'm gonna go... Because I don't want to create an edge. So what I wanted to do was to cut off the mountain. And then go down this area here. And then once I'm done color grading that the way I want to, I'm gonna cut out another piece. And I'm gonna try to do, at the bottom here, do a smooth transition back from where the mountain was to where it's gonna go. But I think it's a little bit too much effort. Just for a screenshot, so I'm just gonna go and I'm just gonna call this, just call it screenshot 4 for now, and then just call it edit. There we go. So now we have the 2 pictures. side by side. Cool. Let's do the other one as well while we're at it. Should have time, right? It's not that late. Ah, it's not that late. It's okay. Okay. Same deal as before. Keeping the original. Let's start by playing around again with the levels here, and let's bring a little bit more darkness to the sky. We can actually do that quite a bit. We can actually pull out a lot of structure. Should we try to do that actually? Get some structure out of the sky. Kind of like that. Already it looks a lot better. I mean, again, the colors are really flat, but as soon as we like... Will it hold us? No. God, no. It almost looks like there's like you're viewing through sunglasses. It's just, yeah. Okay, let's play around with the colors a bit. Which one was it? We really like the... Let's just play around with the saturation a little bit. See, there we go. That's too much. There, the ground still looks natural. I kind of like the dust in the sky, but we could try to. This one is a little easier. We could try to go and just do a quick edit on the sky alone if we wanted to. That shouldn't be too difficult. Just gonna quickly mask off the horizon here. Which is gonna take no time at all. Oh god, I managed to put one down there. Hold on. Just get that over there. There, 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 there. Now comes the fun part. Masking off the mountain. We are gonna just feather this selection or this mask here a little bit once we've done it, just to try and hide the fact that it has been masked off. I'm gonna do that in a bit here. Sorry I'm not reading chat right now, but I just wanna get this thing masked off real quick. Oh, that's not very good. There we go. And there. That should mean we should be able to do a lot more work on the night sky here without messing up the rest of the picture here. Oh, Just gonna move that there. I'm about to say it can't be that far. And almost there. This took longer than I expected it to. Now we're out on flat ground again, so that means we can do some longer straight lines here. Get that thing out of the way. Put one there. 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 And there. So now we got the selection. And we're gonna go and feather this by like just a few pixels, not a lot. I'm gonna put that into a new layer. So now we basically have the night sky in its layer and a layer on its own. And now we can begin to play around with the levels on this one and just this one, and we should be able to make this. So now the question is, what do we want? Do we want the sky, and we can make it stand out like that, where it really like there's a lot of contrast. That's one way to go about it. Really pull out, that's too much. Really pull out the details in the night sky. Or you can go the other way. Because if we do that, and we pull in that, again, you can see the kind of, that what we had before. You can see how much extra detail we can pull out of that. And you kind of get that glow at the edge there as well. And just for comparison, this is where we started. Then we did the ground, or we did the sky, and we did the ground. This is actually a pretty cool combination too. You know what, I'm gonna try something here. Let me just save this one quickly. I'm just gonna try something. I'm gonna go and make the ground a little bit darker. So we kind of get, what I want to try and do here is to try and make like a sunrise. You can see if I remove this where the ground was a little darker. We can use the fact that we have so much light coming out over the horizon here, and we have this night sky. Exactly, I want to try and highlight the fact that it looks like the sun is just about to break. And we still have all those details in the night sky, which I really love, but we could try to take this and then just play around with that. And see if we can't make it like a little bit darker, actually. Without losing details. So I don't want to, so you see what I'm doing here is I'm moving the center one here, because I don't, if you look at the lights from the SRV, that almost doesn't change. It's always this little stuff around, it's the dark parts that change. So what's dark becomes more dark. And because I want to have the lights stand out now, so it kind of looks like a sunrise, like that. Right, so that's where it was, and now we made it like really dark. We kept some of the some of the light from the SRV, so it looks like it's nighttime. And we have that beautiful sky where we can see all the like all the structure there in the night sky, and we have that glow around the horizon that kind of looks like it's about to break for dawn. You know what? Save that, export it. That'll be good enough for now. You can sit and play around with this kind of stuff for hours if you want to. And in general, I think after the first 15 minutes, you can often get pretty close to something pretty good. So should we just quickly compare the two? Here we have the original. Here we have the edited version. That's a huge change. From before, that's the original and edited. This is not as noticeable. I almost feel like the saturation on the ground is a little bit too much. I almost want to pull back the saturation of the ground a little bit. I'm just going to try that. There we go. So I'm just going to try to take this layer and then go up to colors and hue and saturation. Just pull back the saturation. Slightly flat, more flat colors. Like that. Is that, can it, that now begins to look gray. Like there instead. What do you guys think? Let's just pull up the old image. Can you see my point? Like, it's not really that visible, is it? I mean, going almost gray could also highlight the night kind of, like if you go almost grayscale, it would look even more night-ish. So I think I'm actually gonna exactly, I want the colors on the ground to be a little bit more muted, exactly because it's night. So around there I think is good. Let's just quickly go and find this one and then call this one edit 1. And then let's go ahead and export this as edit 2. So let's compare. You see the difference? Like here the colors just it just like really pops out. It looks like almost unnatural. But here when we muted the colors a little bit, you get that kind of night kind of vibe from it a little bit more, I think. That's where we started, by the way. But I like that it's slightly more muted in this picture, while we keep the night sky just being so vibrant and have that day. I like this one. If you want any of these pictures, by the way, I'll make sure to post them over on Discord. I'm just gonna go over to that scene there. I'm gonna post them in. We have a gallery over on Discord where we post pictures. If you take pretty screenshots, you can post them there. I'll be posting them there. If you want them for yourself, you can go ahead. You can pull them up, post them as soon as the stream is over here in a little bit. My cast, well, we're about to end actually. But I'll post the two screenshots over there if case any of you guys want it, and I'm probably also going to post them on Twitter or something like that. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this live stream. Had some great talks and about fleet carriers and arcs, and really glad for you guys' input. Always interesting. Remember that the next live stream is going to be already on Saturday, where I have an open live stream. That means that you have a chance to come and join me live, and we're going to be flying haulers. And it is the ship, the hauler, not transport ships. We're not talking Type 6, Type 7s, those kind of things. It's the ship hauler. And we're gonna go and take those out, fly into a conflict zone, and see if we can't kill some corvettes and other big ships in tiny haulers with a single small hard point per ship. This is gonna be basically the death of 1,000 cut by 1,000 cuts. With railguns, yeah, I've seen people do fragmentation cannon builds as well. It's gonna be a ton of fun. There are gonna be ships exploding left and right. If it's going to be our ships to the enemies, I don't know. We'll figure that out on Saturday. And it's going to be same time as usual. It's 7 o'clock in-game time. Doing this on a Saturday because a lot of you guys from the US sometimes have a hard time being able to join. So hopefully that should make it a little bit easier. So hope you'll join me for the live stream then. And it's usually a ton of fun. And yeah, as I said, Saturday. And then, of course, Tuesday next week is the next usual times live stream, and there I am planning to. I was actually considering that, Dongalora, making a mining lands build, but I didn't. Next Tuesday I will take out the gold digger, which if you watched last week, I revived it. It's been rebuilt and I finished the engineering on it, so it's now completely ready for its first maiden flight after the rebuild. So I'll take out the gold digger. I will take out the gold digger next week, and we're going to try to find a painite overlapping hotspot and give it a go and see how it performs. As always with my builds, it's an iterative process. I try them out, I make changes, and eventually I come up with something that I think is good. But that's all going to be next week. So one on Saturday and one next week. All that's left to say is thanks a lot to all you guys who have been donating through the live stream. It is very much appreciated, and to all you guys who've been watching, I really hope you like the stream. Remember to give it a like down below if you haven't done already, and if you're watching over on Twitch, you can go ahead and click the follow button over there, and if you're on YouTube, please go down and hit the subscribe button. Lots of more. I'm both planning to do a video on this specific spot with all the mountains and do maybe like revive the worth a visit kind of thing. And tomorrow I have a video coming out where I go into a lot of the stuff that we already talked about today about fleet carriers and arcs and how I think and how I hope they're going to be implemented. And pretty much all the stuff that we know and all the stuff that we don't know, I'm going to go and talk about all that stuff. That's going to come tomorrow. I think that's about it. Yeah, right, remember, merch stores also. Link everywhere below the stream if you want to go and get yourself some cool merchandise. There are a link for that as well. I think that's pretty much it. I always do way too long outros, so I'm just gonna call it. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. And next time, I'll see you guys in space.